Welcome to Royal Secret. Imagine stepping into a room shimmering with elegance, a hushed anticipation settling over every guest, then catching sight of Her Majesty Queen Mary, radiant, confident, the very picture of modern royalty, as she arrives solo at a spectacular dinner in Nigeria. Tonight, she's not just a royal figure gracing an event, she's a beacon of diplomacy. And yes, she's here without King Frederik by her side, making this evening all the more remarkable. From her graceful entrance at the stunning venue to her poised interactions with Nigeria's leading artists, cultural innovators, and dynamic community voices, Queen Mary captivated hearts and attention. This wasn't merely a dinner, it was a powerful celebration of art, unity, and cross-continental collaboration. And right from the start, you could feel the energy in the air, an electric buzz of anticipation, curiosity, and respect. This evening was about forging connections that transcend borders, and Queen Mary led the way with warmth, grace, and genuine interest. As she navigated the room, she radiated charisma. Nigerian artists, painters, sculptors, filmmakers, designers, poets, gathered, each eager to share their vision. Queen Mary listened intently, engaged fully, and posed thought-provoking questions. Her laughter was genuine when struck by a story. Her gaze brightened as she stood before an evocative painting or heard verse recited with passion. It was a moment where two cultures embraced, royalty and Nigerian creativity in harmonious dialogue. The decor reflected thoughtful blending of Danish royal refinement and vibrant Nigerian heritage. Rich textures, bold colors, traditional motifs, modern lighting, all converged to form a beautiful tapestry that complemented Queen Mary's mission, celebrating art, bridging cultures, and inspiring mutual respect. She moved with purpose and elegance, pausing to admire bespoke designs, each piece telling a story of heritage and innovation. It was clear this dinner was much more than pleasing appearances, it was a stage for real cultural conversation. Beyond the visual spectacle, the menu honored both nations' culinary traditions. Dishes blended local West African ingredients with Scandinavian finesse. Each bite invited guests, and viewers, to taste harmony. Pepper-infused stews balanced with subtle Nordic garnishes, smoky grilled meats meeting delicate accompaniments. Every course looked stunning and carried a message, blending flavors, blending cultures, celebrating fusion. But the heart of tonight's story was the people. Queen Mary engaged with emerging talents, filmmakers presenting short documentaries on Nigerian history, young sculptors unveiling striking public art concepts, fashion designers melding traditional fabrics with contemporary cuts. She didn't merely stand and observe, she asked questions that revealed curiosity and respect. What inspired this piece? What message do you hope to share? How can we support this art globally? Her responses, warm praise, thoughtful consideration, genuine encouragement, sparked excitement in every artist she spoke to. Later, the atmosphere shifted seamlessly into an intimate musical interlude, a fusion ensemble of traditional Nigerian percussion, soulful vocals, and subtle Danish instrumentation. Queen Mary closed her eyes, clearly moved by the rhythms. When the audience erupted in applause, she smiled appreciatively, another moment bringing cultures together in harmony. As the night carried on, conversations grew livelier. Nigerian art leaders, European diplomats, creative entrepreneurs, they mingled. Queen Mary navigated effortlessly, posing with ease, listening respectfully, sharing stories from her own experiences supporting the arts in Denmark. You could feel understanding blossoming across the room. It wasn't about protocol, it was about genuine shared passion. Around midnight, Queen Mary delivered remarks that echoed through the hall. Tonight reminds us that art knows no boundaries. It unites hearts, sparks change, and paves the way for cultural diplomacy. Her words landed with sincerity and clarity, honoring tradition while looking forward. She concluded her speech with a standing ovation, the room brimming with admiration. When the evening wound down, Queen Mary was seen continuing conversations in small circles, still engaged, still listening. Even without King Frederik present, she embodied regal poise and approachable warmth. The night became a symbol. The power of art to connect nations, the influence of open dialogue, the grace of leading through cultural curiosity. So here's the big takeaway. Her Majesty's solo dinner in Nigeria wasn't just a royal event, it was a cultural milestone. It showed the world that diplomacy isn't always about treaties and meetings, it can be about sitting together, sharing stories, celebrating creativity. It's a model for transforming public diplomacy, showing that even silent gestures, like genuine interest and heartfelt applause, speak volumes. As the final echoes of applause faded and the soft chords of music gently returned to the atmosphere, Queen Mary moved with elegant ease through the candle-lit venue. The setting was nothing short of cinematic. Each corner of the grand room told a story, from the intricately embroidered table runners to the walls adorned with contemporary Nigerian art juxtaposed with classical royal imagery from Denmark. It was a visual metaphor, two worlds, distinct in their history, coming together to forge something profoundly new. The media buzz had already begun before the event even started. Royal watchers, African journalists, Danish correspondents, and international press all gathered in quiet curiosity, eager to witness what this solo engagement would signify. Queen Mary, long respected for her poise and humanitarian efforts, had now positioned herself in the center of an evolving global narrative, where monarchy meets modern multicultural diplomacy. Her solo appearance, without King Frederik, spoke volumes. It wasn't a statement of separation, but one of personal agency, of a queen navigating international platforms with confidence and compassion. Throughout the evening, you could sense that Queen Mary wasn't simply representing Denmark, she was honoring the richness of Nigerian expression. She paused before a striking sculpture carved from local Iroko wood, its bold lines narrating the story of ancestral resilience. The artist, a young woman from Lagos, explained its symbolism. The interwoven roots and branches stood for strength, motherhood, and legacy. Queen Mary, visibly moved, commented that she saw echoes of her own story within the piece, being both a mother and a queen called to balance duty with compassion. Meanwhile, her team of cultural advisors, aides, and security remained respectfully distant. This was Mary's moment to lead not through authority, but through connection. And connect she did. She spent time with elder Nigerian artists whose work had shaped entire generations, honoring them with the reverence of someone who truly understood what legacy meant. She asked detailed questions about techniques, inspiration, and generational challenges. How do you pass this knowledge to your apprentices? She asked one renowned textile artist, carefully tracing her fingers over a centuries-old loom. By letting them make mistakes, the woman replied, laughing. Mary smiled, clearly resonating with the truth behind that statement. Leadership, too, comes from allowing room for growth. But it wasn't all conversation and contemplation. The Queen's presence ignited vibrant energy in younger creatives. A group of up-and-coming fashion designers from Abuja proudly showcased a mini runway presentation, each model striding gracefully in garments that merged Ankara prints with minimalist Nordic lines. The Queen clapped enthusiastically after each walk, her joy unguarded and sincere. One designer shared how he'd always dreamed of making pieces that could travel from the streets of Lagos to the halls of European palaces. Now, he said, that dream has walked right in front of a queen. As guests mingled and cameras rolled discreetly, Queen Mary's team ensured that key stakeholders from both nations had opportunities for deeper conversation. A Danish art museum director discussed potential exhibitions with Nigerian curators. NGO leaders exchanged ideas on youth empowerment through the arts. Ministers from both countries brainstormed future cultural exchanges. And all of this unfolded under the gentle guidance of a queen who understood the quiet power of presence. Her outfit that evening, too, told its own story. Queen Mary wore a floor-length silk gown in deep emerald green, custom designed by a Danish-Nigerian collaboration. The fabric shimmered with motifs that paid homage to Yoruba beadwork and Scandinavian embroidery patterns. Her jewelry was minimal but meaningful, a pair of earrings gifted to her during a previous African visit, and a brooch shaped like an open book, symbolizing learning across borders. Everything she wore, every accessory she chose, was deliberate and respectful. As she delivered her closing remarks, poised at a podium framed by African drapery and Danish floral arrangements, she spoke without notes. Her voice was steady but emotive, weaving a narrative that drew from her own journey, the role of women in leadership, and the universal language of art. To witness Nigeria's creative heartbeat, she said, is to understand a people deeply rooted yet endlessly innovative. Tonight, I am reminded that our worlds are not so different. We both carry stories through time, and it is in sharing them that we become stronger. Her speech wasn't overly formal. It was graceful yet personal, filled with anecdotes about her encounters throughout the evening. She mentioned an 8-year-old artist whose portrait of Queen Mary had captured not her crown, but her smile. She referenced an elderly griot who had sung a short poem about the unity of oceans and rivers. Distant waters, he had said, can still greet each other with waves. Her use of these moments wasn't scripted. They were spontaneous, real, heartfelt, and her audience felt it. Outside the venue, the streets of Abuja were alive with chatter. The Queen's solo attendance was trending on social media platforms. Queen Mary in Nigeria, Royal Arts Dinner, and cultural diplomacy surged in tweets, TikToks, and Instagram stories. Many praised her ability to navigate a deeply cultural event with respect and elegance. Nigerian bloggers celebrated her authenticity. Danish followers applauded her courage to stand tall and gracious on foreign soil. As midnight passed and the event drew to a close, the Queen made one final round. She took extra time with the staff, thanking chefs, servers, lighting technicians, musicians. She shook hands with security personnel and even complimented the local florist on the aromatic centerpieces of hibiscus and jasmine. No one was overlooked. That human touch, that attention to the often unseen contributors, cemented her as a monarch not above her people, but among them. The car ride back to her residence was quiet, but symbolic. As her convoy rolled through the streets lit by distant lanterns and city lights, Queen Mary sat still, reflecting on the evening's impact. Alone, yes, but far from isolated. Her presence in Nigeria had become a bridge, between generations, between nations, between creative souls who now saw themselves not as peripheral, but as central to the story of global culture. And this visit was just the beginning. Rumors swirled about future collaborations, art residencies in Denmark for Nigerian painters, student exchanges in fashion design, joint exhibitions on post-colonial artistic identities. Queen Mary had not merely attended a dinner, she had opened a gateway to something much larger than a single night. And so, we ask, in a world often divided by politics, how powerful can cultural diplomacy truly be? Could it be that art, empathy, and royal goodwill offer the very keys to unity we so desperately seek? If you believe that art can unite worlds and that grace and diplomacy still matter in today's fast-paced world, then be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss our next royal insight. We've got so many more stories to uncover, from palace intrigue to global moments like this one. Share this video with someone who believes in the power of culture, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments below.